Hey everyone. So today I have a hypothetical story that I would love to share with all of you. So it's going to be in detail about the possibility of manifestation and how it works, that there's an invisible side of you that plays a part in your life and your creations. It has to do with your bank account, your health, your happiness, and what you actually see in your reality. So it is a story. But I thought, for anyone who's curious that if this was something that was possible one day, that they might want to inquire and learn a little bit more about this. So that's what this bunch of reels will be today. So once again, this is hypothetical, but if this is something that could possibly happen at one point in our lifetime, what would you love to know about? Would you want to understand how you manifest? Would you want to understand how most people create the reality and why so many have not what they desire, but what they don't want? Is this curious for any of you who are watching me? So this is where I want to dive into understanding reality and manifestation and how things work in your mind and how your thoughts, your feelings, and your beliefs create what you're watching play out in your world. So let's just hypothetically think that this is a possibility. So when you think about how you feel and what you think about and your beliefs, these are the codes that come together, right? That create the reality in the field, in the quantum field. So if your thoughts, your beliefs, and your emotions are part of what creates your reality, then why don't we take a look at what you think about every day? What your thoughts are, what you feel, and what you do every day. Because that would be interesting to see if this is true. What's happening? What does your world look like? And let's just say that whatever you focus on, it's not just any thoughts, thank goodness, but the thoughts that you focus on, the ones that are deeply ingrained within your cellular memory, the ones that you think about, you dream about, and you feel. You think and you have emotions that are associated with them. And these beliefs are all associated. So if you think that you're no good or you think that you can't do something because you failed a couple times, right? So that has formed a belief. Now you believe you'll never be able to do it. So these are the things I want you to look at. But not every thought, not every belief is what manifests in your reality. It's only the ones that you give your utmost attention to. The ones that really feel in your heart. It really feels when you feel them that it doesn't feel good or it feels amazing. Either one, the feeling must be pretty empowered. It's not every feeling, it's really certain ones that you focus on all the time. And one of the most interesting things that most people hopefully know is that you have a subconscious mind and a conscious mind. And these emotions, that's how the subconscious mind, that's the language of it. This is how your reality is created through the projector of your subconscious mind, let's say. So what's in your subconscious mind are all the thoughts, all your feelings, and all your beliefs that you give most of your attention to. And what's even better about our subconscious mind, because we are creatures of habit, that they become habitual, which means they'll do all the thinking for you. So what you give your subconscious mind in terms of your attention with really strong emotion, these are your thoughts, your feelings, and your beliefs. These just keep playing out like a tape player in the very back behind the curtain. So this is where, you don't have to think about them anymore, but you are thinking about them. So whether you're consciously aware of them, whatever is in your subconscious mind now, they're creating your reality. So this is why affirmations don't work. Yeah, they don't. Because you're affirming something that your subconscious mind is saying, but wait a minute, everything that you give me, everything you focus on, all your feelings, this is what you're showing me, right? And this is what you're getting in your reality because that's what you're asking for. So now you're contradicting that by asking for something different. That doesn't make sense. You didn't prove to me that that's what you want. You haven't engaged with a lot of emotion and focused on that to give me the idea that that's exactly what you want. It's not your predominant feeling. It's more like a hope, a wish, or I need. So this is the affirmation. It doesn't work. But this is what we think happens to create a reality. So let's put this to the test. Let's take a look, an honest look at what all of you pay attention to on a regular basis. Now, a lot of this took place when you were young. A lot of it took place very young. So you have to understand that the first 7 years of your life is very prominent right now in your life. It is deeply ingrained in your subconscious mind. It's in your cellular memory. So these are thoughts, feelings, and beliefs right? That are dominant. They're automatically dominant in your life. So this is what creates your reality. And then as you go through your life in this third dimension, what is it that you're focusing on? What is it that you're constantly engaged with? Your five senses are always engaged with all your life. When you start to look at what you're watching, the news, right? If you're looking at the news, if you're paying attention to what you're learning in school, if you pay attention to the media and the movies and newspapers, and then of course, society, right? Your peers. What are you talking about all the time? This is what you're focusing on. You're repeating it all like a parrot. It's just automatic, right? Until it becomes in your subconscious mind, and then you no longer have to think about it. It'll do everything for you. It manifests for you. So this is where you hear people say no attachment. You don't need to be attached to what you want, because as soon as your subconscious mind gets it, because you've asked for it, there's no need to be attached to it. It's coming, because that's what the subconscious mind does. So a lot of you, I'm sure, have tried to manifest a coffee after watching the movie The Secret. You have tried to create something in your life and it worked. So you do know that there's something going on in something that would call the field or the invisible world. There's an invisible part of a reality that you're not tuned into too much, because you're focused 100% into the physical reality, because this is what you were told was real. And so you're sitting there focusing on that. You're getting this information through your five senses. You're feeding it constantly into your mind, and your subconscious mind is picking out what's your most dominant thought and feeling. Now, I know this is going to sound a little negative right now, but it's got to be something that needs to be spoken, because once you understand this, maybe one day you'll be able to change it. So if you're given a bunch of information your whole life that makes you feel scared, that puts you in a state of fear, that makes you feel and believe things like whatever you've got in your world, whatever your parents had, that's all that's available. Whatever you're given in your educational system, whatever knowledge you're given in the system, it's all there is. So you only have choices from what you see in the physical world. And you've gone and you've tried things, or you've done certain things and you failed, or it didn't seem to work, or life seems to repeating patterns in your life. Where are those patterns coming from? It's the program in your subconscious mind. If what I'm saying is true, and we manifest our reality based on where we place our attention all the time, the most dominating thoughts that we have, which once it's in the subconscious mind, you don't need to try anymore. You don't need to focus. You don't need to daydream and try to make it happen. You've already given it to your subconscious. The subconscious mind is going to do all what needs to happen to bring it into your reality. So getting it into the subconscious mind is your emotional mind. The language of your subconscious is emotions. So if you're feeling attacked or scared or worried or not good enough, and then you get evidence of this in your reality based on the knowledge that you've been given, you're going to be predominantly thinking about you're not good enough, or you're fearing something. Now, we've all been told that, money's hard to earn, and that only the rich people have it, and they're very bad people, and that you have to work very hard in the third dimension to achieve what it is that you want. Now, all of us know by now, you've tried it most likely, and your parents tried it, your great-grandparents tried it, and you know what? It didn't seem to work out too well. But there is a common thread, though, that you can look at all of humanity, and you can see without any doubt that something they've taken on as a belief. And that manifestation does work because all of humanity has the same reality. Okay, I should say most of reality, 99%. So you got to say, okay, this manifestation thing must work. There must be something to it, whether it's an invisible world, our thoughts are creating it, our beliefs are doing it. I don't know what this person's saying here, but apparently if 99% of human beings are supposed to be co-creating with God, right? We're here to manifest. We're here to experience things. That's what we're told. Then I guess what we're all supposed to experience is what all our peers are experiencing. What we see on TV is actually part of our reality. What we hear on the radio is part of our reality. What we constantly see in movies and on Netflix is really our reality. So that must mean what? Where's our attention? Where are we constantly putting our attention? And then, of course, if you're scared, that's an emotion. If you're afraid that you can't pay for your home or your rent, or you can't pay for food for you and your family, or you can't pay for gas to get to work so you can actually hold a home, right? Aren't these fears? They're going right into your subconscious mind because that's the language of the subconscious. So that's why thoughts alone aren't good enough. You need to have the thought that's associated with the emotion, which is fear, right? So we got a collective of humanity, 99% of humanity, and they're all creating this field, this beautiful movie that all looks the same in most people's lives. Everybody's struggling. Everybody's got some kind of disease, or they know someone who does. They're all looking for some hope or some meaning in life, and all they do is struggle trying to just make ends meet. Most don't have enough money to pay for all their bills or for their taxes, and they're working their asses off because they were told that if you work hard and you try hard, you're going to achieve, abundance or freedom, whatever it is that you desire. And most of us are realizing that if this was the truth, then why does only 1% succeed at it? Some of this might be a little bit foreign, but you got to realize that the information that's new that you hear, I would encourage you to open your mind up to learn more about it, because what you've already been taught up till now in your life through anything through the system is going to be very limited. So if you want to expand your mind, expand your consciousness to be able to create something new, you need new things in here. Okay, so what I want to go with here is, so we do have the evidence, because you look at the world and the world is manifesting the same movie. So we're all watching the same movie. Everyone's experiencing pretty well the same type of emotions. They vary a little bit, but most of them engage in the very low fear and scarcity type of thing. And then of course, no one can deny what you're watching play out in the world. So what I want you to really grasp here, if it is supposedly possible that we have the power to manifest our reality, and it's supposedly available to us to create and manifest what we want, but we were not given the rule book, right? Those 45 books were removed and everything was hidden. So we've just been kind of going with the flow, and we don't know what we're doing. And then we get frustrated because we wonder, okay, listen, something in my body, something in my heart, something in my soul is screaming that I am better than this and that I can have more. And the 1% that you do watch, right? Not the cabal, but the 1% of people that have made it, okay, what are they doing? They made it. They've cleaned up their subconscious mind. They've done something different because they're manifesting completely different reality than 99% of humanity. So what did they do that was different? To give you a little deeper science, I guess, if you need to have that, for some of you who need proof, you've all heard of the placebo effect. What does that have to do with anything I'm talking about? Is that it's the power of your belief and feeling, because whatever you believe, you have a very strong feeling associated with it. This is why people will fight to the death and argue with you, and their ego will be so strong because they'll say, hey, my beliefs are right and yours are wrong. And then they try to force others to take on their beliefs because they are passionate, they are engaged, their feelings are very much aligned with that belief. Do you guys all understand what I'm saying? That's how powerful that power you need in a belief to make it happen. So when you have a placebo effect and you take on a belief, you believe the doctor tells you, because you put him on a pedestal, because we've been all given these hierarchies of who we should put on pedestals. So most of humanities, especially past cultures and past generations, they put adults, they put elders, they put doctors on these big ass pedestals. So if you put a doctor on a pedestal and they trick you in a good way, and they say, hey, this pill here is going to cure you. If you take this pill once a day for 30 days, your disease is gone. The one who put the doctor on that pedestal takes their word as God's word, as absolute gold. And that's what the placebo is. They've healed themselves. And the pill was nothing else than, as you know, a sugar pill. So belief and your emotions, right? They are tightly engaged. So this is where I want to get you to explore. When one day we might figure out that we do actually create a reality, maybe we should just try something different. Now, what I'm about to suggest, I know that most of you wouldn't even entertain, because like I said earlier, we're creatures of habit. And we only have a certain amount of knowledge that we're given, and we took all that knowledge, most of us, as truth, especially as children. So whether now as an adult, you say, no, I don't believe in that, you don't understand yet that the subconscious believes it. And until you engage the subconscious with something different, your conscious mind can say, I don't believe it. I don't buy into this. I understand. But when you look at your reality and you're not seeing what you're saying consciously play out, your subconscious mind is still in charge because it still believes everything you believed and took in as a young child. So this is where I want people to start to think, okay, I look at my reality. I look at the information that I'm given. I'm looking at everything that I've seen my family say and do, all the little nuances of money don't grow on trees and you got to work hard. And, people like you and me, we're not meant to have that kind of life. We're meant to have this kind of life. Whatever it is that you grew up with, you took it on as truth. You took it on as belief, at least at one point. And the reason why I can say this with conviction, because I understand this isn't my story. This isn't like my rules. I'm not making this up. These are the laws of the universe. This is part of you being human and spiritual in this realm. So these are actual rules. These are rules that are playing out because the evidence is overwhelming. Overwhelming when you look at our reality of 99% of the collective. It's all similar. Now, just like you have a fingerprint, no one else has. You're unique. Your identity is unique. And you're here for a specific reason and a specific purpose because you are a creator. You're manifesting. It is not normal. It was never meant to be, where all of humanity creates the exact same story. So what I was going to suggest, got on a little tangent there, is to do things differently than what you're doing now because you have to change the input. You have to change the input to the point where you believe it. You believe it. You got to believe new things. So that means, first of all, you have to entertain new ideas. And you got to be willing and open because the life that you have currently isn't what you want. And there's something within you that wants it bad enough that you're willing to override the programming, get uncomfortable, and actually entertain something new. This is what the 1% have done. Usually it's because of a near-death experience. It could also be from just an absolute lowness of hopelessness. There's something that happens within the human where they just get to a point where it's like, you know what? I'm not willing to settle anymore. It's not worth this life. There's got to be better. And then you see the evidence of some people that you might be watching online, everyday humans that have gone from being in the system, making $30,000 a year, to being multimillionaires within a couple years. So there's the evidence to show you that what happened? They changed the input that came into their mind, which means they got emotionally involved. They took on different beliefs. And once the subconscious mind catches on to that, because you're focusing on something different, it is what goes and manifests it for you. This is why don't be attached to what you want, because when you hold on to what you want, you're not going to get it. But you have to understand the process of manifestation, the process of you and the subconscious mind and the relationship that the subconscious brings in everything that you give it. It's emotion. So you got to create new beliefs, new thoughts, and new emotions. How many are interested in doing that? So if any of you want to have more money in your bank account, you want to be happier, you want to find peace and joy and meaning in your life, you want to find the love of your life, you want to remove the patterns, because the patterns are what's in the subconscious mind. It's just repeating it over and over and over again because nothing new is going in there. Because when you live, like I've shared in my previous videos, in the third dimension only, and you're only allowing the information coming through your senses to be through your peers, through, what you read in the newspaper, what you hear on the news, what you watch on TV, what you see on social media, as you scroll through it for hours and hours and hours, garbage in, garbage out. So you have to modify what you're bringing in to your mind in order for it to project out something different. So this is how powerful you are, and this is why if you have billions of dollars for thousands of years spent on how to control the human mind to objectify a certain experience that's all seemed to be the same as the 99% right now, which is disease and sadness and unworthiness and lack and all those things, then if you can do that, then you can do the opposite. You can have abundance, you can have more money. You've seen certain people do it already, but it's not the most. 1% of people are doing it because at some point they took on a belief that they know that there's more to life than this, and they were willing to figure it out. So just try this as an experiment. If you're willing to do it because you want a change bad enough, this is only for like probably 1% of you watching me or even interested in this, but it works because you already know that it works, because 99% of the world is all giving you the same story, because they're looking and plugged into the same information. They have the same or similar beliefs and fears and thoughts. This is why you get along so much with everyone else. Why do you think when people start to break free from the system, they start to earn more money, they start to decide for themselves, heaven forbid, that they want a different life, and they move into a nice area with maybe bigger homes or a nicer car, and they have more money, and everyone around them mostly will judge them, dislike them, hate them, and disown them? It's not only a vibrational thing that they're feeling, but it's like you don't fit the mold anymore. So how many people can hold that? Because that's what comes with this right now. And if you can hold that, then that means that you can hold anything that you desire. So how do you do this? Because you're surrounded by media, you're surrounded by the news, you're surrounded by peers and family and so forth. And it's possible because you make a decision. You are absolutely in 100% control of what you accept into your mind and what you reject in your mind. When you're around people, you're around news, you turn it off. If you're around people that are talking about the news and all the fears and all the scarcities and all the global warming lies and all the so-called diseases that they're creating in labs, if you want to take all that on, go ahead. That will just keep manifesting what you have. But if you want to change something, you got to change the input. So the input is all the media, everything in the external world. So you don't have to turn your life upside down completely. You can need to have discernment in terms of what are you allowing in, right? What are you surrounding yourself with? Are you willing to start watching things or taking in new information that you actually got to go seek out? It's not just free. It's not just casually free sitting there for you. Anything that's free is not going to be mostly good stuff at all. It's going to be stuff that continues to keep you repeating the same patterns that you have. Because we have a very low consciousness about money. We have scarcity and fear around money. We don't even understand money, and it's just energy. So people thrive when you say something's free. But when it comes to investing in yourself to learn who you are, investing in things, videos, coaches, books, seminars that will actually give you a new point of view, give you new information that you don't currently have in there. Nothing changes until new information has access to your mind, to your five senses, where you start to contemplate it, you start to think about it, you start to feel things, and then all of a sudden a belief can change. And the power of belief is real. We've already talked about it. What would happen if you didn't believe money was hard? What if you believed that money was everywhere because it's energy, and you understood how to attract it into your life? It's just knowledge. It's just information. And once you gain information, all of you probably have had stuff where you believed a certain thing. You thought you were only capable of certain things. And then somebody came along and taught you something new. Or you just read something new, and all of a sudden your belief system completely changed because you know that was limiting, and that's not true. So I would invite some of you who are watching still, if not all of you, if you're still here, that most of what you have is playing out in your reality. So the reality doesn't lie. It's just reflecting your belief systems, what you're emotionally engaged with, what you truly have going on in the subconscious mind. So your thoughts, your beliefs, okay? So if you want to change that, then somehow you've got to get new information in there. You got to be willing to bring new information in that isn't maybe necessarily easily accessible, or it might cost some money to do so. But it's got to be worth it for you. This is why I shared earlier that most people, they want free stuff, and if nothing free comes in that changes them, then they're not willing to change, and they settle for what they've got. This information I'm sharing with you will only land with very few if they're at that point in their life where they've tried many things, it didn't work, they see the patterns playing out in their life and they're tired of it, and they're really at the point in their life where they can see through some things. They know that it's themselves that's creating their reality, but they just don't know where to start the change, the ripple change, right? The effect. And you have to realize that it's you. And if you want to know your true programming, the code that you're sending out into the universe, it's your reality reflecting it back. And all of those beliefs and all of the emotions, because the subconscious mind's language is emotion, it's feeling. You can't blame anything. Don't blame yourself. You had no idea these programs were being given to you, and they're continued to play out every day right now. So if you want to change the programming, you got to change the information. It's really that simple, but you got to be willing to be different because you're going to stick out. You won't fit in. You're not going to be like everyone else. You're not going to have the same intellect as everyone else because now you're going to have new language, new information. But there's many, many, many people that are on that page, but you won't find them just walking outside your door. You've got to go and connect with them. So hypothetically, what do you think would happen if you started to fill your mind with new information and new beliefs about abundance and about health, about prosperity and about freedom, about how to tap into things outside of the third dimension that actually are here, that are accessing new information that helps you through the quantum field do these magical things, synchronicities and the law of attraction that actually bring in everything that you want? How would it feel if you knew that all you had to do is be surrounded? Put yourself around the things that you love, the things that make you feel good. Because here's the thing, you could want something, but it goes on your feeling. Your vibration is your feeling, your most dominant feeling. And if you're feeling sad, or if you're feeling hopelessness, or you're feeling like so tired and burnt out, this is the first place that you need to figure out, how do I shift that? Before you even think about going out and trying to create more money or to create success in some area of your life or change your relationship and find a new one, don't even think about going out and finding someone that's a better partner or going out and finding your soulmate when your dominant emotion is absolute sadness and frustration. People always are looking for the quick fix and the answer from the external world, and it's not there. It always comes from who you're being. So the first thing you want to do, if you're not happy, find a way of feeling what makes you happy. There's many things that will make you happy. It could be as innocent as petting your dog, going for a walk, but you have to make the choice and the decision to put yourself in those environments all the time, or as often as you can. And then I've shared in many videos, the most prominent one that you want to use is your imagination, because that environment is the one that has all the potentiality available to you. That's where you create. That's what you're creating from every day now. That's creating your reality. Because what you do is you're getting help from the TV and you're getting help from movies to picture. But manifestation can only happen when you think of it in your imagination. You see the picture of it in your imagination, and then your emotions are obviously engaged with it. And then boom, there's your reality. That's how it works. Because last time I looked, it's not that often, I didn't see all our social media. I didn't see our news. I didn't see the Netflix movies. I didn't see the newspaper or the radio. I didn't really notice all of the abundance and the information coming to us about how we can achieve absolute freedom in our lives or unity with everyone and how to live happy and with meaning and with purpose. I didn't see any of that yet, but I can make it my reality on my watch, on my terms. How? Decision. I unplug from there. I don't take in that garbage. And I decide to create where all creation begins anyway. So I started to learn more about who I was because I am the one who's creating my reality anyway. So I went in my own imagination and I started to create belief systems based on what I put in there. Now that's a whole deeper subject, but that's as simple as it really is. You create your world in your imagination and you create the feelings in there. And like most of you probably know, the subconscious mind has no clue that you're just imagining it. So if you do that often enough, the atoms in your body, the chemistry in your body, it changes. Your DNA actually changes its signal. And this is how you attract a brand new reality. So you can do this without even physically doing anything. Not to say you don't do anything physically. Don't take that out of context. But 99% of manifesting what you desire is mental. What you think about where you place your attention and what you're feeling dominantly and predominantly every day. So when you look at your reality, and if you're honest with yourself, you just got to think, where are you constantly putting your attention and your emotions every day? So I want to bring something a little bit deeper that you can get. And this is how it works, and it's evident. So when you get us to place our attention on something and we're engaged with emotion, this is what creates realities. And if you get a lot of humans doing it, then the whole entire collective can create a timeline. It can create a single reality that's exactly the movie. It's exactly the same. So when you look, right, at the wars that are going on, the fears of so-called disease, the global warming, and all of the things that we get, this is why we're experiencing it in our timeline. This is why we keep seeing it play out in our reality. It's like, it's a loop. You get the information that goes in, you see the pictures in your mind, right? You have the feeling engaged with it, whether it's anger because you know what they're doing, or it's scared because you don't know what they're doing and you think it's real. And then you are creating this huge collective timeline. It's been hijacked. I've shared that with you. But that's not the point of these videos. The point of these videos is for you to get out of it. Let that timeline play out somewhere else, but you can choose a different reality for yourself. And the first thing you do is you stop taking in that information and buying in that that's true, because whatever you think's true is a belief. And then there it goes. You are now bringing that into this timeline. So you need to seek, and you shall find. It will not be given to you on your front doorstep of all of the ideas and the ways to think that will bring abundance, joy, health, and all the other beautiful things into your life. You have to seek that out. You have to put yourself in that environment all the time. And it will not be very long if it's sincere and if it's authentic and it's really something you're really wanting to test. That's why I encourage you guys. Hypothetical story I'm talking to you guys about today. Test it out. And don't be a typical human who's impatient and wants it now. And if it's not there, it's not going to happen, because that's a tantrum. And that's immaturity. And if you want to create the life you want, you need to be a little more spiritual mature. You need to understand how things work. And you have to realize that you can't just be something temporarily and it comes in. It's the transformation of you. You are the one transforming. You are growing, evolving, expanding, whatever you want to call it. That's the secret. So, do you think someone who spends their days and nights, day in and day out, fearing things, feeling low self-worth, not very confident, the outside world dictates how they feel, controls all their emotions, do you think that energetic field that surrounds that human, do you think that human is going to live an abundant life, very healthy, super happy, inspired? They're being controlled and manipulated, right? So I don't know how much happiness can come from that. And they don't like what they're getting. So these videos are to give the ones that are ready an out. You don't have to live your life that way. But you've got to be willing to change your identity. You've got to be willing to let go of most of what you know to allow something brand new in so that you can change everything. And this is why near-death experiences, and it seems like extreme things, have to happen to humans before they say, okay, you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. Give me whatever and I'll do it. And some people argue that, but you know what? I very rarely have seen anyone that has a great life and then decides to do this massive shift. It's usually that hopelessness, no meaning, feeling like they're just done. And that is probably the most best thing that can happen, because that's when you start to seek other things that you know you never would have seeked before, because the way you've done things up until now didn't work. So why not try something else and see if that works for you? Now let's think about someone who loves himself, extremely confident, knows that whatever they do turns to gold, knows that they're here for a big reason. They've got boundaries and standards set up so they don't allow people to siphon their energy and take advantage of them, but they're very good people and they care. It's all about service to others for them, because they understand the laws and they know that what you put out, you do get back. And they do not allow the garbage, the low frequency energy, the information that is being vomited all over us to enter their immune system, their circulatory system, their mind. They dismiss it. They've done some work to remove what they had when they were born because it's in your cellular memory, and they've decided to create a brand new belief system about who they are. They think every day is beautiful. Yes, they have up and down days, but they don't stay there very long. And they're not victims. They know that they are the ones creating their life. So they figure out how to become better and better at leading themselves. And then they lead others just by who they're being, whether you're a coach or not, or whether you're just an everyday Joe that's going through a shopping mall. If you are in a beautiful place and you're happy, that's very magnetic. It's contagious. Strangers are going to walk up to you and say, "What are you doing?" It's a choice of identity. You have to be ready to get rid of your old one. And just put yourself in beauty all day, every day.